Come through the sky, Christopher Daniels, Frankie Zay, collectively known as SoCal Uncensored or
SCU. This is Catch, Hook, and Shoot, the worst podcast I've ever been on. Word.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Catch, Hook, and Shoot, the best podcast you never heard of. My name's Tom. I am your host. I want to thank everybody for watching, listening, and subscribing on YouTube, Podbean, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts from. Make sure to check out CatchHookShoot.com, where you can also find all the podcasts, all the videos, interviews, and the CHS shop, where you can get all of our merchandise. You can also find more merchandise at ProWrestlingTees.com/CatchHookShoot. So I think we've got 5 or 6 t-shirt designs over there that are not on the CHS website, so check that out. And you can find us on social media on all platforms at CatchHookShoot. And you can find all that and a whole lot more on our Linktree, which is Linktree/CatchHookShoot, or you can scan this little QR code right here in the corner of your screen if you're watching it on YouTube. And if you ever want to shoot me an email, it's catchhookshoot@gmail.com. So trying something a little different this week since it's a big pay-per-view weekend. This week's show is going to be all about AEW Full Gear. It's just going to be a recap of the pay-per-view. We're going to see how it turns out, and you know, if it works, if it's to our liking, this will probably be the way that we do pay-per-view weekends going forward. Just focus on recapping the pay-per-view and make the whole show all about the pay-per-view. And this was I think a pretty good one to start off with this little experiment. So let's jump right into the first segment here, and that's the lead story. So this week's lead story, I don't think there can be any doubt, has to be Hangman Page winning the AEW World Championship. And you want to talk about long-term storytelling. This is a story that began at the inception of AEW, at that first press conference where Hangman Page was up there talking about wanting to be the first AEW World Champion, to when he won the very first Casino Battle Royale to get into that first title match against Chris Jericho, which he lost. And that just kind of started, a different path for Hangman. Ended up in a tag team with Kenny Omega, won the tag team championships, lost those championships, got kicked out of the Elite, got kind of picked up by the Dark Order. He kind of pushed away from them, and just all these ups and mostly downs for Hangman Page, and then made his return just recently in the Casino ladder match to win the number one contendership again. And finally, after 2+ years of storytelling and just building this story of Hangman Page, he finally defeats Kenny Omega to become the AEW World Champion. I'm sorry, if you don't find that to be a compelling story, if that didn't grab your attention and keep you, at the very least, interested for the last 2 years, I don't know what to tell you. Maybe you just don't have a long enough attention span. I don't know. But that is some of the best storytelling, long-term storytelling, that I have seen in professional wrestling in a very, very long time. When's the last time WWE did a 2-year story arc like that? I mean, I'm not saying it's never been done, but it's rare. In pro wrestling these days, in any company. I shouldn't even single out WWE. It's rare in any wrestling company that a story is drawn out over that long a period of time, but it made the payoff so much better. And Hangman Page, now the AEW World Champion, congrats to him. So and the match with him and Omega was outstanding. Most of the matches on this card were outstanding, but there was one to me that stood out more than any others, and I'll get into that in just a second in the match of the week. So, like I just said, a lot of matches on this, or all the matches on this card were just phenomenal, quite honestly. There was not a bad match on this show, But the one to me that stood out the most, that's the match of the week this week, is CM Punk versus Eddie Kingston. And these two guys beat the living hell out of each other, and it was fantastic. And there were moments where it looked like Kingston really was going to get the victory over Punk, but in the end it was CM Punk that got the victory. He extended his hand to Eddie Kingston as a show of respect after the match, because these guys they went to war in there. Punk got busted open during the course of the match, and it was just I'm not even sure what else to say. It was just a great freaking match. And Kingston, of course, rejected the handshake from Punk, so I don't think this one is quite over with. I'm thinking we may see another match with these two. I hope we do, because this one was amazing. So, Punk versus Kingston is the match of the week this week, and this is going to carry over into the top 3 highlights of the show, and that's coming up in the 3 count. Carrying over from the Punk and Kingston match, first up on the 3 count, Eddie Kingston basically knocks Punk out right at the beginning of the match before the bell even rings. The two guys come to the center of the ring, they're jawing a little bit, the referee's kind of giving last-minute instructions, and Kingston hits Punk with the spinning back fist before the bell even rang and just knocked him flat out. And I honestly thought the match was over right at that point. I thought it was just going to be a quick 3-second match. I was expecting the ref to ring the bell, and Kingston to get the instant pin. That's why I say, there were moments in this match it looked like Kingston was going to pull it out on Punk. But like I said, Punk did end up getting the victory in what was just, in my opinion, the best match of the night. Number 2 up on the 3 count, Jay Lethal, making his debut at AEW Full Gear. He has signed with AEW. He, his Ring of Honor contract is done. Pretty much everybody's Ring of Honor contract is done at this point. But Jay Lethal is now officially part of AEW, and he instantly challenged Sammy Guevara for the TNT title, and that match is going to happen on Wednesday on Dynamite. I can't wait to see that match. I don't think Lethal's going to win the TNT title right off the bat like that. I don't know if we'll see a 20-minute draw. I don't know if we'll see maybe some type of interference and, a no contest, or maybe Sammy just gets a clean victory over Jay Lethal. I mean, who knows with AEW? Could go any which way, but I don't see Sammy losing that TNT title quite yet. And number 3 on the 3 count, Bryan Danielson defeated Miro in the finals of the World Championship Eliminator Tournament. So Bryan Danielson now is the number 1 contender for the AEW World title, and will at some point challenge Hangman Page for that belt. I don't know if they're going to drag it out to the next pay-per-view, or if it'll happen on maybe it'll happen on the debut episode of Dynamite on TBS in January. Again, could be any time. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. So Danielson defeating Miro for the number 1 contendership. So that's going to do it for the 3 count. Like I said, we're keeping it all about we're keeping the main part of the podcast all about the pay-per-view. So we're going to skip all of the other wrestling news for the week, and right now we're going to throw it right over to Charlie G, and he is here with your Indie Cut.
Thank you, Tim, and hey there, wrestling friends. I am Charlie G with this week's edited Indie Cut, as it was a busy time in the Indies. So we begin with Saturday, November 7th, Stardom, Gods of Stardom Tag League, Day 5. They start off with a couple of regular matches of Mo Watanabe defeating Saki Kashima, Sai Kamitani and Siri to a double countout. That was kind of interesting to see that. And a regular tag match of Hazuki and Kaguma defeating Azumi and Utami Hayashita. Now that was a real cool match, even though it wasn't for the tag league. Then we go to the tag league matches of Ruaka and Starlight Kid, now at 5 points, defeating Lady C and Waka Tsukiyama, who have 0. Mei Sakura and Unagi Sayaka, who have 4 points now, defeating Himeka and Natsupoi, who had 6. A little bit of an upset there, I would think. And then we had Mina Sarakawa and Tam Nakano getting 1 point as they drew against Mayu Iwatani and Rin Katakura, who have 5. So we then go to New Japan Power Struggle, which is also on Saturday. bunch of title matches. So we have the Never Openweight 6-man tag. Changing hands as Evil, Sho, and Yujiro Takahashi defeated Hiroki Goto, Tomohiro Ishii, and Yoshihashi to become new 6-man champions. For the New Japan King of Pro Wrestling title amateur wrestling rules match, this was something else to see. Champion Toriano defeated the Great Okan 6-5. For the IWGP Junior Heavyweight titles, Al Desperado defeated champion Robbie Eagles to become the champion. For the IWGP United States Heavyweight title, Kenta defeated champion Hiroshi Tanahashi, my bad, to become the champion. And of course, challenged CM Punk and anyone else who kind of would want the title match. So, can't wait to see where it ends up. Then we've, for the IWGP World Heavyweight title number contendership match, Okada defeated Tama Tonga in a real good match there. And there's rumors Okada's in the States, maybe for Full Gear, for the New Japan show, which is right after Full Gear. We'll find out, I guess. And then for IWGP World Heavyweight title, the other champion, Shingo Takagi, defeated Zack Sabre Jr. in about 30 minutes. Awesome match between these two, and go check it out if you can. You move over to Red Pro, British J Cup 2021. They're also holding their own J Cup matches, but this ended in one night. So I'll just go through the final two matches of the night. So we had Kyle Fletcher, Mark Davis, and Will Ospreay, the United Empire, defeating Ricky Knight Jr., Chuck Mambo, and TK Cooper. And then for the British J Cup final four-way match, Mike Bailey defeated Connor Mills, Luke Jacobs, and Michael Oku. Over to the States, we have New Japan Strong number 65, a showdown day one from the 2300 Arena in Philadelphia. Juice Robinson defeated El Phantasmo. Real good match there. And then Clark Connors and Ren Narita defeated TJP and Will Ospreay, with Narita pinning TJP. Time will tell how this leads up to further matches, as Will was not happy, of course, since the Young Lions, as you might say, defeated his team. To Hialeah, Florida, and Coastal Championship Wrestling, Bash at the Brew 10. Brian Cage is back in action, defeating Andrew Everett, who hasn't wrestled much himself, so nice to see that. Way over to Pacheco, California, and All Pro Wrestling, East Bay Pro Wrestling, and Gold Rush Pro Wrestling all teamed up to put on their own Young Lions Cup, which was pretty much tag matches. So let's go through the semifinal winners. Trevor Outlaw defeated Trip Jordy. Darian Bankston defeated Kid Bandit. Nick Xander defeated John Wolfgang. And Juicy Finau, who won a losers 8-way match, defeated Surza. So in the final match, it was a 4-way. Juicy Finau defeated Darian Bankston, Nick Xander, and Trevor Outlaw. Nice to see Trevor out and about doing some more wrestling action. Go down to Mexico and AAA action. There was another Marvel match with Dark Black Widow defeating Captain Marvel. There you go. It was the new sexy star defeating Lady Marvia. So if you want to know who they were, now you know. Then there was Mr. Cease Jr. and Octagon Jr. teaming with Nino Hamburguesa to defeat Argenis, Toxin, and Viano III Jr. Real cool match there. And then Chessman, Pagano, and Psycho Clown defeated Abismo Nego Jr., Ariz, and Psychosis. A form of Psychosis, I should say. Not the old school one that we all know and love. This was an interesting match. Who was it? Someone changed. Oh no, the mask. That was the match before. They changed mask, and it was just odd. And this last match was all right. Still in Mexico for a freelance show in Ciudad Nazalacoto. I hope I didn't pronounce that too badly. Psycho Clown defeated El Hijo del Wagner, Dr. Wagner Jr. And Monster Clown with Murder Clown defeated Dr. Wagner Jr. and Guillermo del Mar. So I haven't seen those guys in action much, but they were last Saturday. To Sunday, November 7th, and Wave, cool running. Haven't said this in a while, but they had a Pro Wrestling Diana Queen Elizabeth title three-way match with champion Yumi Okada defeating Kari Oniyama and Leon. To Stardom, Gods of Stardom, Tag League Day 6. Yeah, there's only... Oh, here we go. Mayu Iwatani and Rin Katakora have 7, defeating Lady C and Waka Tsukiyama, who still have 0. Hazuki and Kaguma, now at 5 points, defeating Mai Sakura and Unagi Sayaka, who have 4. And then they finished off the night with Himeka, Natsupoi, and Siri, defeating Azumi, Saikamatani, and Utami Hayashita, and a awesome match between those 6. To Rev Pro, live at the Not Pit 55 in London, England. Chuck Mambo and TK Cooper defeated Connor Mills and Michael Oku. Brandon White and Doug Williams defeated David Francisco and Joshua James. Ricky Knight Jr. defeated JJ Gale. The United Empire of Kyle Fletcher, Mark Davis, and Will Ospreay defeated Callum Newman, Lee Hunter, and Robbie X. And for the Rev Pro Undisputed British Women's title, Alex Windsor defeated Giselle Shaw to become new champion. Back here in the States, and Extreme Pro Wrestling, The Rebirth from Rochester, New York, on Fight TV. Interesting show, to say the least. They held a tournament for their XPW title. So Willie Mack defeated Matt Cross in a Lucha Underground style match, you might say. Or throwback. TJP defeated Bill Collier. Masada defeated Rhino. Brian Cage defeated Casey Navarro. That was real cool because it felt like it was Warrior Wrestling all over again. But Cage won this time. And a last Hell Standing match. Vincent from Ring of Honor defeated G. Raver. In the semifinals, Willie Mack defeated Masada. Brian Cage defeated TJP. Silas Young defeated Colin Delaney and Nick Ando. In a chairs match, Madman Fulton defeated and took on Slack to a no contest. Of course, that had to happen. And then for the XPW World Heavyweight title, Willie Mack defeated Brian Cage to become champion, only to be shenanigans happening and owner coming out. And Brian Cage then defeated Willie Mack in 5 seconds to become your XPW champion. Crazy ending. I guess that's how XPW is. I don't remember it that well, so Brian Cage is kind of a heel and is your new XPW champion. Then to New Japan Extra number 2. This is on YouTube. I always say this because this is Will Ospreay against Alex Zane. I won't spoil it because it was an incredible match between these two. So check that out on YouTube. New Japan Pro Wrestling. Then we go to Jersey City Wrestling. Series of Survivals from Game Changer Wrestling YouTube in Ridgefield Park, New Jersey. So this is pretty much Survivor Series indie style. And it was all 8-man elimination tag. So that was pretty cool. Let's go with first one. Arcadia, Azrael, Grim Reaper, and Slayer defeated Dylan McKay, Jimmy Lloyd, Marcus Mathers, and Steve Sanders, with Grim Reaper getting the last elimination. Ace Perry, Braden Lee, Cole Radrick, and Hoodfoot defeated Janai Kai, Robert Martyr, Tracy Williams, and Yoya, with Cole Radrick getting the last elimination. Crowbar is back in action. Delirious, Edith Sorrell and Erica Lee, defeating Charlie Tiger, Alice Tater, Griffin McCoy, and Jordan Oliver, with Edith Sorrell getting the last elimination. Billy Dixon, Deltano, Joshua Bishop, and Nasty Leroy. Yeah, Nasty Leroy is in action. Defeated Big Vin, Bradley Prescott, the fourth, Steve Scott, and Veda Scott, with Nasty Leroy getting the last elimination. And then the main event was Billy Starks, Charlie Evans, Everett Connors, and Joey Janela. That's where Joey is. He's on YouTube in the Indies. Defeating Bam Sullivan, Cesar Bernoni, Charles Mason, and Slade, with Charlie Evans getting the last elimination. A cool show, so check that out on YouTube. To Glory Pro, Russell Apocalypse from St. Louis, Missouri. Nice to see them back in action. Cody Lane defeated Alex Zane. Fred Yehai defeated Camaro Jackson. Warhorse defeated Aria Davari. Josh Alexander defeated Davey Vega. For the United Glory title duo tag ladder match, champions Moses the Deliverer and Raheem Della Suede defeated ATM and Eli Rossi, as well as Chris Castro and Paco Gonzalez. That'd be real cool. Allie Catch defeated Brooke Valentine. For the Midwest Territory four-way match, Tootie Lynn defeated champion Rohit Raju, Dan the Dad, and Ethan Price to become the champion. I guess that's how Tootie got her AEW Dark match. I don't know. I really don't get it. Sorry. And Crown of Glory title match, champion Mike Outlaw defeated Myron Reed. To Beyond Wrestling and Women's Wrestling Revolution, Reverse the Curse on IWTV from Somerville, Massachusetts. Or as I like to say, Somerville, Mass. Brody King defeated Ryan Gallione. Alicia Edwards defeated Kaya McKenna. Becca defeated Jody Threat. Eel O'Neill and Jordan Blade defeated Shug D and Trish Adora. Matt Cardona defeated Ted Goods. Kind of interesting match there. Jeff Cobb pretty much destroyed Wheeler Yuta in about 13 minutes. Kenny Copeland defeated Heidi Howitzer. Masa Slamovich defeated the one called Manners by pretty much knocking him out. Bear Boulder and Bear Brunson defeated Jay Lyon and Midas Black. Megan Bain defeated Max Impaler. And Alex Price defeated Ricky Champagne somehow. Yeah. On to Monday, November 8th, and Limitless Dancing on Thin Ice from Herman, Maine. Alex Price defeated Eddie Edwards, probably with the help of Becca. Divine defeated Masa Slamovich. And AC Romero, Anthony Green, and Dirty Dango. What a team there, you know. Defeated BRG, Channing Thomas, and Mac Daniels. To me, Anthony Green and Dirty Dango would be a great tag team in any company, because they seem like they're very much alike. Same height, same style, same... You name it, they could be a great tag team, and maybe that's what this is leading to. To Tuesday, November 9th, and Tradition Pro Wrestling, Tatsumi Fujinami 50th anniversary, they never gave up tour in Tokyo. Excuse me. Whereas Hiroshi Tanzan, Satoshi Kojima, and Tatsuya Fujinami defeated the Great Muta, Akushi, and Kazuma Sakamoto. But please check that out. I want to check it out. That sounds like an awesome match there. Especially with all six of those guys. Pretty much legends. I'd like to see how they went for 17 minutes. Good on them, right? On to Wednesday, November 10th. And DDT. Anyway, I haven't said this in a while. And their Grand Prix Night 2 show. But this deals with the DDT Iron Man Heavy Metal title. My favorite, of course. So we had Hideki Okatani defeating champion Akito to become champion, which led to a six-way match of Kazuka Harada, Toru Arashi, and Antonio Honda, defeating Hideki Okatani, Akito, and Saki Akai, which then led to Toru Owashi defeating champion Kazuki Harada to become new champion. Jeez, I love that title. I still want it. I still want to win it somehow. On to Thursday, November 11th, Beyond Uncharted Territory, Season 3, Episode 6, from Worcester, Mass, on IWTV. Layla Hirsch defeated Divine. This is pretty much Ring of Honor show and Beyond teaming ups, so just stick with me. Jorah Joel defeated Tony Deppen. A bit of a surprise there. Bobby Orlando, Bryce Donovan, and Cam Zagami defeated Eli Isom, Ryan Mooney, and the world famous Cheeseburger. When Cheeseburger hit his Shote and Cam Zagami, pinning Ryan Mooney. Only that can happen and beyond. Ryan Galeone defeated Dak Draper. Slade defeated Tracy Williams, pretty much choking him out. In the Discovery Gauntlet, Jalen Brandon and Trevon Jordan defeated Duke Davis and Gannon Jones Jr. And in the main event, which was kind of interrupted by their stream, Megan Bain defeated Masa Slamovich. So check that out if you can. Horror Slam Wrestling and Game Changer Wrestling teamed up for Horror Slam versus GCW 2 in Detroit, Michigan. For the Horror Slam Undeniable title 5-way match, champion Kyle Barrett defeated Atlas Hightower, Gregory Iron, Congo Kong, and Kyle Coleman. Alex Weir defeated Jason Hatch. For the Horror Slam Heavyweight title, Malcolm Monroe III defeated champion Trey Miguel and Jordan Oliver in an outstanding match there. Sorry to see Trey lose a title, but now he's down to 2. And then he's down to 3, back down to 3, something like that. And then for the Horror Slam Death match, champion John Wayne Murdoch defeated Tommy Vendetta. Sorry, I did not watch that match. On to Friday, November 12th, 0-1 Wrestling. Furin's Kazan Tag Team Tournament, Night 2. Where they held semi-final matches. I'm not going to get into those. Then we had the 0-1 World Junior Heavyweight title and the 0-1 International Junior Heavyweight title, with champion Fuminaro Abe defeating Leo Osaka to retain. And then for the NWA Intercontinental Tag Team title, this is what the tag tournament was for about, where Gajo and Tomohiko Hashimoto defeated Hartley Jackson and Junya Matsunaga to become new champion. So the NWA Intercontinental Tag titles are back alive, you might say. So that's interesting to see. Back here in the States, in Game Changer Wrestling, Evil Deeds, still on Detroit, Michigan, on Fight TV. Effie and Matthew Justice defeated Alex Zane and Tony Deppen. Gringo Loco defeated ASF. Atticus Kogar and Eddie Only defeating Jordan Oliver and Nick Wayne. Probably some skewers involved in that one. Ellie Catch defeated Chelsea Green. Little upset there, I would say. Leon Ruff was back in indie action, defeating Braden Lee, Chase Burnett, Cole Radrick, Nate Webb, and Yoya. Alex Shelley defeated Matt Cardona, so that household was probably not happy. That was an awesome match there. In a death match, Rina Yamashita defeated Trelly Evans. That was interesting. I did watch that match. I wanted to see what the ladies can do. And then Alex Clone and Takeda defeated G. Raver and Jimmy Lloyd in an 11 minutes of bloody action. To House of Glory, Born Again in New York City, New York, on Fight TV. Ken Broadway defeated Rocky Romero. Violet defeated Evilise. For the House of Glory Crown Jewel title, three-way match, not a four-way. Low Key was back in action, defeating champion TJP and Charles Mason. That was awesome. Nice to see Low Key back in action. Of course, he was in a suit, so nice to see him. And he won a title on top of it, so cool. And then we had Will Ospreay defeating Amazing Red. This was restarted after a double pin when Ospreay hit Amazing Red. He fell over on him, got a double pin. They restart the match. As they restart the match, Ospreay hit a low blow on Red and then pinned him. It was an outstanding match until that ending. You know, he kind of turned on his old Chaos partner and that. So, you know, it is what it is with Ospreay right now. He started bad-mouthing the crowd. He then beat down Amazing Red, and Ken Broadway came out to help. Then TJP came out to help Ospreay. So it looked like there could be a tag match down the road. But before leaving, Will Ospreay said Red or Ken have to start over again against his friend, and his friend is Malachi Black. And that will be on December 11th. So the 10th, 11th, and 12th is going to be some ridiculous matches, shows all over the place, including Warrior Wrestling. So stay tuned. I will do my best to recap those, because it will be an interesting early start of December, I shall say. So Malachi Black is heading to House of Glory, and possibly Will Ospreay to AEW with Malachi Black. You never know, right? But they're friends. Then to West Coast Pro Wrestling versus the World from San Francisco, California on IWTV. This is the last show I watched last night after so much. Reno Scum and Juicy Finale defeated Jarrell Nelson, Royce Isaacs, and Titus Alexander. Masa Slamovich defeated Nicole Savoy and Sandra Moon. Pretty good match there. Mr. Iguana put on a cool match defeating Steven Cesario. Carl Fredericks defeated Roy Horace. Yuya Uminora defeated Levi Shapiro. Tomohiro Ishii defeated Vinny Massaro. That was a nice hard-hitting match there. Jeff Cobb defeated Chris Dickinson in and out. Great match there. Hope they can do that again on some bigger stage. And then for the West Coast Pro Wrestling Heavyweight title, champion AJ Gray defeated Black Taurus. That was really good. Another hard-hitting match between those two. They actually shook hands at the end of the match, which is kind of rare for both men. At the end, as AJ Gray was saying he'll take on all comers, Jacob Fatu came out and all hell broke loose, and he wants a match. And it looked like these two really hated each other, and if there is, that match should be really good. If there was just a show, they still put on a great show. So that will happen also sometime in early December. Then lastly, I'm sorry I'm talking so long, CMLL, Super Vernus show. Yeah, lucky I'm saying these correctly. Grand Guerrero, Ultimo Guerrero, and Atlantis Jr. defeated Euphoria, Mephisto, and Valor Joe Jr. And then for the CMLL World Heavyweight title, champion Hichario, hope I said that correctly, retained against Cavernario. So that had to be real cool to see. Whew! That's it for me. Until next time with more show results and recaps. Don't forget, keep enjoying wrestling world how you like it, wherever you can, however you can. Thank you for watching or listening. Hope you enjoyed the cut. Keep safe, take care, and be kind, everyone. Back to you, Tom.
All right, thank you very much, Charlie. So we're going to keep rolling right along with our AEW Full Gear recap here, and we're going to continue that with what I would consider the standouts, the individual standouts from this pay-per-view, and that's coming up in the top 5. All right, first up on the top 5 has to go to Chris Jericho. The Inner Circle did pick up the victory over the Men of the Year and American Top Team, but Jericho with a very, very cool tribute to Eddie Guerrero at the end of this match. hitting the frog splash, dropping down to a knee, pointing up to the sky. Just a very, like I said, very cool, very classy, very nice tribute to Eddie Guerrero. Number 2, got to give it to Bryan Danielson, like I just talked about a minute ago, winning the number 1 contendership for the world title. Number 3, Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, successfully defending her championship against Ty Conti in another just fantastic match between these two women. The the AEW women's division has caught a lot of flack since AEW started, but I think they're gaining a lot of momentum, and they're finding their footing. And the AEW women's matches and just women's division in general is becoming a very solid division. So, taking a little time to build up and find their way, so to speak. But I have no complaints about AEW's women's division. Number 4 or number 2, I guess, depending on how we're counting here. CM Punk, like I said, that match with Kingston was definitely the match of the week for me. Best match of the night. And just what else can be said about it? And of course, number 1, got to be Hangman Adam Page, brand new AEW World Champion. I already talked about the long-term storytelling involved in this one, and yeah, just an amazing match between him and Kenny Omega. Had the Young Bucks kind of getting involved, looking, and I'm thinking this might start a little bit of tension within the Elite between the Bucks and Kenny Omega, because the Bucks came down to the ring and didn't get involved in the match, and kind of gave a nod to Hangman Page, okay, you earned back our respect after he had been kicked out of the Elite. And so I'm curious to see what's going to happen within the Elite between the Bucks and Kenny Omega after this one. But yeah, number 1 on my top 5, Hangman Adam Page, your brand new AEW World Champion. So next up, I get to play armchair promoter here, and I think I've got a pretty good one, which I'm pretty sure we're going to see at some point. So yeah, this is the Fantasy Booker. So I just talked a little while ago about Jay Lethal signing with AEW, and this to me is a huge signing. Jay Lethal, 20-year veteran. He's been, was a big part of Impact, has been just a staple of Ring of Honor for many years, has done pretty much everything there is to do in Ring of Honor, and he's now a part of AEW. And one match that I really want to see that, I'm sure we're going to see somewhere in the near future, Jay Lethal versus Kenny Omega. Jay Lethal, one of the best in-ring performers in the world. I don't care what anybody else has to say about it. I don't think there is any argument to be made that Jay Lethal is one of the best wrestlers in the world. Kenny Omega, has been an ongoing argument for a few years that he is the best wrestler in the world. And I think the two of these guys could potentially put on, if you want to use the star scale, these guys could put on a 8, 9, 10 star match easily. So I'd love to see the two of them in the ring together, and it's not so far fetched. I think we will probably see it somewhere down the line. It's just a matter of when. So yeah, Fantasy Booker this week: Jay Lethal, Kenny Omega. Tony Khan, book it, please. Somewhere, anywhere. I don't care. Put it on Dynamite, put it on Rampage, put it on a pay-per-view. Just book it. Because, any true wrestling fan is going to have a blast just watching that match. So, let's get into the last segment of the show here, where I kind of espouse a bit of a controversial or unpopular opinion, and that is my weekly hot take. All right, so the hot take for this week is kind of directed at the IWC, the Internet Wrestling Community, and primarily at the ones who want to argue back and forth about AEW sucks, WWE sucks, and that's really where the competition is. I've said it many times. The competition is more among the fans than anything else. I think the fans put more stock in the TV ratings than the actual companies do. Not saying the companies don't care about them, but it's more of an argument between the so-called fans than anything else. But my hot take is this: AEW pay-per-views and WWE pay-per-views can't be compared to one another. They just can't. They're totally different products. You know, it's the old cliche, apples and oranges. You know, you can't compare the two. AEW's pay-per-views are quarterly. You know, we only get an AEW pay-per-view every 3 months, and you can't compare those to WWE pay-per-views where we get at least one a month. You know, you just can't make the comparison, because AEW is more about quality, as in, you know, the longer term storytelling, the in-ring product, the wrestling, and that kind of stuff. That's what AEW is about. AEW is about quality. WWE is about quantity. You know, at least one pay-per-view a month, sometimes two, depending on what the month is and where the pay-per-view dates fall. But you know, and I'm not saying WWE doesn't put out a quality product. I mean, sometimes it's a little questionable, in my opinion. You know, I'm not the biggest fan. I'm not as invested in a lot of the WWE stories as I am in AEW stories. But WWE is all about creating hours of content for their network, or for, you know, which is on Peacock now. But so that's I think the driving force between WWE is just creating content, as much content as they possibly can. And, you know, sometimes I'll say it, the quality does suffer. The storytelling suffers. AEW is more about the quality, but as a result of that, it's different philosophies, is my point. You know, that's why I say you can't compare the two. With AEW, when their pay-per-views come up, you're getting the payoff of at least 3 months of storytelling, sometimes longer. You know, with WWE, when the pay-per-view's done, they're right into the next pay-per-view. They don't have time from one pay-per-view to the next to fully develop a storyline. The pay-per-views are almost incidental at some points. You know, it's like you may start a storyline at a pay-per-view, or the pay-per-view may come, you know, a week or two into a storyline. You may have a storyline that extends over 4 or 5 pay-per-views sometimes. So, you know, it's a different philosophy. It's a different way of doing things, and people that try to compare the two of them, it's a reach at best. You can't really say that, you know, WWE does better pay-per-views than AEW, or AEW does better than WWE. I don't think they can be compared in that way. You know, obviously, of course, you can like one more than the other. Like, you know, you can like Full Gear more than you like Survivor Series coming up in a couple weeks. But, you know, to say one is just definitively better than the other, I don't think you can, because I don't think they can be compared in that fashion. So that's my hot take for the week, is AEW and WWE pay-per-views cannot be compared, because they're two totally different, distinct products. So that's pretty much going to finish things up for this week. Hope you guys enjoyed kind of the new pay-per-view week format. We'll try it again when Survivor Series comes up. Let me run down just the rest of the results of the card here real quick before we sign off, though. On the pre-show, we had Hikaru Shida and Thunder Rosa picking up a tag team victory over Jamie Hayter and Nyla Rose. MJF defeated Darby Allin, which this was another fantastic match. Of course, MJF had to, you know, use a cheap shot with his Dynamite diamond ring, so I don't think we've seen the end of this rivalry. The Lucha Brothers retained the AEW World Tag Team Championships in an amazing tag team match against FTR. This one was a contender for Match of the Week. Actually, all of these were contenders for Match of the Week. MJF and Darby Allin, Lucha Brothers versus FTR, Danielson defeating Miro. Then we had Christian and the Jurassic Express picking up the win over the Super Click, which is Adam Cole and the Young Bucks, in a Falls Count Anywhere match. Damn good match. This reminded me of like an old-time bunkhouse match, honestly. Cody Rhodes and Pac got the win over Malachi Black and Andrade. Like I said earlier, Britt Baker retained the women's world title against Ty Conti. Punk got the win over Kingston. The Inner Circle defeated the Men of the Year and American Top Team. And once again, Hangman Page, your brand new AEW World Champion, picking up the win over Kenny Omega. So that's going to wrap things up for this week. Like I said, I hope you guys like the new pay-per-view week format. We're going to try this for the next few pay-per-views, see how it goes. Of course, I'll be making some tweaks and adjustments and, refining it a little bit. I'm just kind of, like I said, I'm experimenting here. It's my show and I'm allowed, so it is what it is. But, so yeah, like I said, hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you to everybody for watching, listening, and subscribing on YouTube, Podbean, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts from. Make sure to check out CatchHookShoot.com. Find us on social media at CatchHookShoot. Check out the Pro Wrestling Tees store at ProWrestlingTees.com/CatchHookShoot. And you can find links to all of that on our Linktree, which is Linktree/CatchHookShoot. And if you ever want to shoot me an email, it's CatchHookShoot@gmail.com. So with that, I'm going to sign off. Hope everybody has a great week. Enjoy all the great wrestling coming up this week. I can't wait to see the fallout from Full Gear coming up on Dynamite. But enjoy everything coming up this week, and I will talk to you guys soon.